Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every woman's life when she has to make a choice, not between right or wrong, not between love or hate, but between settling or rising, and in that moment I hope you choose to rise. I hope you choose your crown. You were not born to be background noise in someone else's story. You are not here to be someone's second thought, backup plan, or emotional crutch. If someone can't see your worth, it's not your job to shrink, it's your cue to walk. With your head high, heels higher, and your self-respect untouched, stop begging for energy that drains you. Stop over-explaining your value to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. You are a queen, not because of how you look, but because of how you carry yourself. A queen doesn't chase, she chooses. She doesn't cling, she commands, and most importantly, she never begs for the bare minimum. She expects the best because she is the best. Let them wonder why you left without a word. Let them watch as you bloom in silence. While they stay stuck, you rise. Unapologetically, powerfully, beautifully, and when you do, don't look back, don't check to see if they noticed. Queens don't move backwards. They build empires out of broken moments and wear resilience like red lipstick. So act like a queen, and leave him behind, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with the kind of grace that makes people whisper your name long after you've gone. Because the real glow-up isn't looking good, it's feeling free. Know your worth and stop seeking validation. Too often, we find ourselves measuring our value by how someone else treats us. We look for signs in their words, their attention, their texts, their approval. Like little breadcrumbs we follow, hoping they'll lead us to feeling enough. But the truth is, no one gets to decide your worth but you. You were not born to be defined by someone else's opinion, mood, or ability to love you correctly. Your worth is not up for debate. It is not something that increases when someone stays or disappears when someone leaves. Every time you dim your light just to make someone else feel more comfortable, every time you stay quiet so someone else feels heard, every time you minimize your accomplishments to make someone feel bigger, you are handing over your power. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be respected, to be bold, to be brave, and to walk in your full strength without asking for permission. Validation is a drug. The more you rely on it, the more you need it. You start second, guessing your instincts, questioning your choices, doubting your beauty, your brilliance, your intelligence. You become addicted to outside affirmation, forgetting that the loudest voice should be your own. It's not about arrogance, it's about truth. It's about standing in the mirror, looking yourself in the eye and saying, I am enough as I am. I do not need to shrink to be worthy. I do not need to impress to be loved. You don't need someone to tell you that you matter. You don't need someone to reply fast enough, love hard enough, or stay long enough to convince you of what you already know deep down. And if you don't know it yet, let me say it, you are worthy even if they couldn't see it. You are powerful even if they were too intimidated to admit it. You are brilliant even if they tried to dim it. Your value was never dependent on them in the first place. Know your worth so deeply that it becomes unshakable. That when someone tries to come in with half-hearted effort, inconsistent words, or a love that makes you question yourself, you don't get flattered, you get clear. You don't get confused, you get going. You stop interpreting mixed signals like they're poetry. You stop decoding their silence like it's your fault. You stop internalizing rejection as a reflection of your inadequacy. Instead, you recognize it as redirection. You understand that someone who doesn't see your value is not your loss, they are theirs. And yes, it's going to be hard sometimes, because we've been taught to tie our worth to how much someone wants us. We've been conditioned to believe that being chosen is the ultimate validation. But what's more powerful than being chosen by someone else is choosing yourself over and over again, especially when it's the hardest thing to do. Especially when it means walking away from someone you thought you'd stay with forever. Especially when it means being alone for a while so you can hear your own voice again. That's when your true worth shows up. That's when you remember who you are. You are not a consolation prize. You are not an option. You are not something to be figured out later, picked up when it's convenient, or appreciated only in your absence. You are not meant to beg for attention, affection, or time. Your energy is sacred. Your heart is valuable. And your love is a privilege, not a right. Stop asking, was I enough? Start asking, were they even ready for someone like me? Because someone who truly sees you will never make you question your value. They won't keep you in limbo. They won't play small to keep you small. They will rise to meet you, not ask you to lower yourself to be loved. When you truly know your worth, you stop chasing closure, stop replaying the past, and stop looking for signs in the spaces where love no longer lives. You stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. You stop giving chances to those who see your kindness as weakness. You stop trying to fit into spaces you've outgrown just to feel accepted. And from that space, from that knowing, you grow, you rise, you glow. Not because someone finally told you you're enough, but because you realized you always were. You walk different, you speak different, you attract different, and you no longer settle for anything that doesn't feel like peace, power, and purpose. Because when a woman knows her worth, everything around her starts to shift, and suddenly the people who once made her question herself no longer have a seat at her table. Walk away from anything that dims your light. There is a kind of strength that doesn't need to scream. It doesn't need to fight to be seen or beg to be loved. It simply walks away, and that, more than anything, is what power looks like. When you choose to protect your peace, when you choose to leave behind what doesn't serve your soul, when you choose yourself over the comfort of familiarity, that's when you begin to reclaim your light. You don't need to stay where you're not celebrated. You don't need to stay in spaces that make you question your value, your beauty, or your brilliance. You don't need to keep proving yourself to people who benefit from keeping you small. Because the truth is, your energy is currency, your presence has power, and not everyone deserves access to it. If something or someone consistently dims that light inside of you, no matter how much history you share, no matter how much potential you see, it's time to walk. You are not a lamp that someone can turn on or off when it suits them. You are the sun, radiant, consistent, and unstoppable. But even the brightest light will fade if it stays in a room where it's not allowed to shine. You weren't created to live in shadows. You weren't made to constantly dim your sparkle to make others feel more comfortable or less insecure. Your light is meant to illuminate your path, your purpose, your power. The ones who love you right will never ask you to be less. They won't treat your strength as a threat. They won't need to break you down just to feel bigger. Real love doesn't shrink you. It expands you. It challenges you in a way that builds, not destroys. And if you find yourself consistently drained, doubting, or disappearing just to keep someone happy, it's not love, it's control. And no one has the right to dim what took you so long to ignite. Sometimes walking away isn't loud. It's not always an announcement. Sometimes it's silent. It's when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop giving one more chance, when you stop checking your phone, hoping for something different. It's when you finally breathe and realize, this is not where I thrive, and that realization, that's everything. Because once you see that clearly, you can't unsee it. Once you feel the weight lift after you walk, you'll never question why you did it. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you understand that staying out of guilt, fear, or obligation is a betrayal to your own spirit. It means you're no longer willing to water dead plants, to pour into people who never pour back, to carry the emotional labor of someone who never even says thank you. You deserve reciprocity. You deserve joy. You deserve a space where your light is not only seen, but honored. Sometimes we hold on because we're afraid of the unknown. We think maybe it'll get better, maybe they'll change, maybe this is as good as it gets. But your intuition knows, your soul knows, that whisper you keep ignoring, it's not going to go away. It will get louder until you listen, until you say, I choose me, I choose peace over chaos, I choose clarity over confusion. I choose freedom over fear, and when you walk away, do it with your head high, not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you're remembering who you are. You're not someone who needs to be rescued. You are the storm and the calm that follows. You are the answer, not the question. You are not leaving because you're giving up. You're leaving because you've grown, and grown people don't shrink themselves to stay. They rise, they evolve, they move in the direction of their light. So when the space you're in starts to dim that light, don't hesitate. You don't need closure from someone who couldn't even give you consistency. You don't need an apology from someone who treated your heart carelessly. Sometimes the best apology is your absence. The best revenge is your glow up. And the best decision you'll ever make is the one where you finally say, I deserve more. I deserve better, and I'm not afraid to walk alone if that's what it takes to shine. Your crown is not up for negotiation. There will be people in your life who try to tell you who to be, how to act, what's too much, and what's not enough. They'll ask you to tone it down, to be more agreeable, to be less confident, less ambitious, less you. They'll do it quietly sometimes, with disapproving looks, with silence instead of support, with backhanded compliments that leave you second, guessing yourself. And sometimes they'll do it loudly, with criticism disguised as concern, with ultimatums, or with love that feels more like control. But no matter how they try to do it, remember this: your crown is not up for negotiation. You don't need to shrink to make someone else feel secure. You don't need to fold to make someone feel powerful. You don't need to soften your truth to be loved. If someone's love for you is conditional on how much you dim your brilliance, that love is too small for the woman you're becoming. The right people will never ask you to choose between your crown and your connection with them. The ones who see you, truly see you, will admire the way it shines, not resent the way it demands presence. Every time you choose to stand tall in your truth, you're polishing that crown. Every time you say no to less, when you could have easily settled, you're reinforcing it. Every time you walk away from disrespect, from confusion, from chaos, you're protecting it. Your crown isn't made of gold or diamonds. It's made of boundaries, of standards, of resilience, of the lessons you learned when you finally realized that being treated right is not a luxury, it's the baseline. People may call you difficult when you stop letting them walk all over you. Let them. They may say you've changed when you finally start honoring your needs. Let them. They may even try to paint you as selfish when you stop giving your energy to those who only take. Let them. The truth is, you were never too much. You were just too real for people who are used to less. And now that you've remembered your power, there's no going back. You are not here to beg for the bare minimum. You are not here to be a diluted version of yourself to keep a man, to keep friends, or to keep peace. Real peace is found in authenticity, in waking up and knowing you don't have to pretend, in speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes, in staying rooted in your worth, even when it makes others uncomfortable. Your crown doesn't disappear just because someone refuses to see it. Their inability to appreciate your value does not decrease it. You do not become less worthy when someone walks away. If anything, their absence makes more space for the right people to show up. People who won't just admire your strength, they'll match it. People who won't just sit next to your throne, they'll build one beside it. So wear your crown boldly. Don't tilt it to fit into rooms that weren't built for your kind of fire. Don't hand it over just to keep someone who's already halfway out the door. Don't let anyone treat it like a souvenir they can pick up, play with, and put back down. You earned it through every heartbreak, every disappointment, every time you were told you weren't enough and still chose to rise. That crown is a symbol of your journey, of your survival, of the fact that you are not a woman to be broken. You are a woman who builds. And if they call you intimidating, let them. If they say you're too bold, too loud, too independent, wear it like a badge. That crown doesn't just sit on your head, it lives in how you walk, how you speak, how you love yourself even when no one else is clapping. It lives in the silence you choose when drama tries to lure you back. It lives in the grace you carry when you're underestimated, and the fire you hold when you're underestimated again. You don't need permission to be powerful. You don't need approval to be regal. You don't need validation to be unforgettable. Your crown is yours. It cannot be borrowed, bought, or broken. So adjust it if you must. But never, ever take it if silence can be louder than words. Let your success speak. There comes a time when explaining yourself, justifying your choices, or defending your worth becomes exhausting. Not because you can't do it, but because you finally realize you don't have to. You don't need to argue with someone who's committed to misunderstanding you. You don't need to waste your breath trying to convince anyone of your value. The most powerful thing you can do sometimes is say nothing. Just rise. Just evolve. Just keep moving forward with purpose, and watch how the silence echoes louder than anything you could have said. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean submission. It means mastery. It means choosing to step out of the chaos and into your power. It means leaving the noise behind so you can hear your own clarity. Some people will only hear you when the applause starts, when the glow-up becomes too loud to ignore, when the success is undeniable and your name is being spoken in rooms they never thought you'd enter. That's okay, let them witness you without access to you. The truth is, people love to test you. They want to pull you into their drama, into their projections, into their insecurities. They want a reaction so they can twist the narrative and make you the villain. But a woman who responds with silence, with peace, with unbothered elegance, that's a woman who has outgrown the need to entertain anything beneath her frequency. That's a woman who knows that not every insult deserves a reply, not every betrayal needs closure, and not every ending requires an explanation. Let your silence be your boundary. Let your silence be the statement. Because when you stop explaining and start executing, the energy shifts. You stop talking about your dreams and start living them. You stop waiting for recognition and start giving it to yourself. You stop fighting to be understood and start focusing on becoming undeniable. Success isn't always loud. It's not just about wealth or titles or praise. Sometimes it's healing quietly. It's rebuilding yourself without announcing it. It's falling in love with your own solitude. It's setting goals and crushing them with no one watching. It's showing up for yourself day after day, even when no one claps. And then suddenly people start noticing. They wonder how you did it. They remember how they doubted you. They regret the way they left you, overlooked you, or underestimated you. But by then you're already gone, already elevated, already unreachable to the version of them that failed to treat you right. Don't waste time proving yourself to people who didn't value you when you were still accessible. Let your growth be the answer. Let your success be the evidence, and let your silence be the closure. You don't need to post it. You don't need to say it. You don't need to explain it. When you're really in your power, peace becomes louder than any revenge, and progress becomes louder than any apology. Walk into every room like you belong there, because you do. Carry yourself like someone who doesn't need to compete, because your only competition is who you were yesterday. That kind of quiet confidence, that's what changes the game. You no longer need to scream your value. Your presence says enough. You no longer need to prove what you bring to the table. You are the table. So let them talk, let them gossip, let them wonder. You're not in the business of responding to every opinion. You're too busy building, growing, glowing. And the moment they see you thriving, not bitter, not broken, but better, that's when your silence will roar. Because a woman who lets her success speak is a woman who can never be silenced, there is nothing more liberating than realizing you no longer have to carry what broke you. The pain, the betrayal, the disappointment, the stories you told yourself about why you weren't enough. None of it has to define you anymore. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your mistakes. You are not the version of yourself that settled, that stayed, that tolerated less than you deserved. That was a chapter, not your whole book. And at any moment you get to close it and write a new one. The only thing you need to do first is let go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means no longer allowing the past to control your present. It means deciding that your future matters more than your history. It means releasing the weight of what if and why me, so you can finally move in the direction of what's next. Because there's power waiting for you on the other side of your healing, but you'll never reach it if you keep looking backward. You can't rise while gripping the chains of the past. You can't step into your greatness while dragging old wounds that still whisper lies into your mind. Lies that say you're not lovable, lies that say you'll never find better, lies that say you're too broken, too much, too late. Those voices only have power if you keep giving them the mic, and today is the day you turn it off. Letting go is an act of self-love. It's telling yourself, I deserve more than this sadness. I deserve more than these memories that haunt me. I deserve more than this version of me that's stuck in survival mode. Because thriving is your birthright. Joy is your natural state, and the woman you are becoming needs space. Space that can only be created when you stop clinging to the people, the situations, the habits that are already in your past for a reason. Yes, it's hard. Walking away from what's familiar, even when it's painful, is never easy, but staying stuck is harder. Staying in a place that drains you, staying loyal to people who weren't loyal to you, staying bitter over things that can't be changed. That's how you dim your own power. That's how you forget your fire. You were not made to stay hurt. You were made to heal. You were not meant to relive your trauma every day like a soundtrack on repeat. You were meant to rise from it with more compassion, more wisdom, more strength than ever before. You don't need closure to move on. You don't need an apology to forgive. You don't need anyone to validate your pain to release it. You hold the key, always have. And the moment you decide to stop looking for answers in the places that broke you, you begin to remember who you were before the world told you to doubt yourself. There's a version of you on the other side of all this. One who laughs freely. One who loves without fear. One who walks into a room and doesn't scan for who might hurt her, but stands tall because she knows no one can take from her what she's built inside. She doesn't carry her pain like a badge. She wears her power like a crown, and every scar she has is a reminder that she survived what was meant to destroy her. But survival isn't the goal anymore. Thriving is. Rising is living fully, wildly, deeply. That is the new standard. Letting go is a choice you make over and over, even on the days when the memories sneak in and try to pull you back. It's a commitment to yourself. It's refusing to stay stuck in the version of the story where you were hurt, and choosing instead to write the chapter where you win, where you shine, where you love yourself so fiercely that the past can't touch you anymore. So don't wait for the pain to disappear. Choose to rise anyway. Don't wait for the perfect moment to heal. Decide now. Let the past be a lesson, not a prison. Let it go, not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. And because the woman you're becoming can't rise if she's still carrying what she should have released long ago.